This is a 2015 Nissan Versa. Definitely going to need to be cleaning the corrosion off of that. See, the headlights themselves are covered in moisture. I've been told that my buddy who previously owned this hit a deer, and I guess he was fairly lucky that it just took this out and didn't take out the whole front end. And it's got a little damage here. I'm just going to be replacing this whole tail light assembly. Forgot to mention that. That is not fun. Other than that, it seems to work fine. You can see there's some dents and dings from, not my buddy, but the guy he got it from supposedly locked his keys in the car and tried to break in. And I'm sure this thing is in desperate need of a tune-up. Other than that, though, everything seems to be running fine. I took it for a little test drive here earlier. So I'm excited to get this thing fixed up. And maybe I can trade it for something a little bit more fun. I finally got the side mirror in. So I'm going to start taking this door panel off so I can get to it. Started with one little Torx bolt there. Torx screw. I got to peel this guy off and take this off here. Should be 3 bolts and a plug. Now I got the door panel off, as you can see over there, and the window switch set up. Now it's just 3 10mm bolts, and there was this plug here because it is power windows. And now I just need to loosen those 3, put the new thing on, the new window, not window, what am I saying? The new mirror, then take the door panel and put it back on. All right, got it all bolted on and plugged in, and it looks like that mirror is working, so it is getting power. All right, now I just got to put the door panel back on, and we should be in business. It's day 2 of working on the Versa. Got that side mirror put on right there. Next thing I'm going to do is I need to change out the belt and tensioner, or more like the tensioner pulley, which is down there. I also need to do the spark plug, so I have to remove the intake. So I got to replace that gasket down there, the throttle body, which I'm going to clean, and then obviously I'm going to change out that air filter, but get those spark plugs changed out there, and hopefully this thing will run a whole lot better when I'm done with it. So we took off the throttle body. Here it is. It's not too bad, but I'm going to clean it regardless. Unfortunately, since this is the electronically actuated throttle body, I'm not going to use an old toothbrush or anything. So instead, I'm just going to spray it down a whole bunch with cleaner and go with it. All right, I'm about to take the intake off. I had a little trouble earlier. One of the bolts that holds the intake in place rounded off. So I had to go run to the parts store and get this bolt extractor, and it didn't work very well with my ratchet here, but with this impact, seemed to do the trick. All right, I got the intake off, and here is the bolt that rounded off. Don't bother about that stripped out portion. That's just because I had to grab it with vice grips to get it out of the bolt extractor. But you can see that thing got really chewed up, and it is absolutely toast, so we are getting rid of it. Here's the intake. Fortunately, I didn't damage it at all. I will be changing out the throttle body mounting gasket, as well as the intake manifold gasket. You always want to do that so you don't get an air leak and cause more problems. So I'm going to go right ahead and change out these spark plugs and, of course, the PCV valve. And then button it all back together, and it should be good to go for now. I'll see how much time I have left. If I want to go and take care of the belt now or wait till later. And I know on the list, I also got all this corrosion I got to take care of on that battery terminal, but that can probably wait till tomorrow as well. Got the PCV valve off. You can see the old one versus the new one. You can hear the old one I don't hear a thing. The new one, you can actually hear the little check valve moving back and forth. So this one was probably overdue to replace. So it's good we're doing it now. That's going to help prevent things like the valve cover gasket seal failing. I've seen that happen before. Or on a different Nissan product, it was having a horrible rough idle issue where it was just revving up and down constantly without your foot on the pedal. And it turned out it was a $17 PCV valve. So let's get this thrown on there so that we don't have to deal with that anymore. All right, I got that intake manifold put back on. Unfortunately, because some of the old bolts were so chewed up, not this one in particular, I had to replace them with some generic hardware. Thread pitch is the same. Yeah, this guy has a little bit of that extra length right there and there, but these should still hold for an intake manifold. I don't envy the guy who has to do this job again because the heads on the old ones are 10 millimeter and 13 millimeter on the new ones. All right, everything's put back together. Put in a new throttle body mounting gasket here. What you don't see is I just put in a fresh air filter. Now I'm going to turn it on and make sure everything is working right. Well, I think that sound means it's working right. Next, I got to do that belt, and then I got to clean up that battery terminal right there. And after that, who knows what I'm going to do next. I'm probably going to get under the car and check suspension and steering. And I'm probably also going to check fluids, see if I need to top anything off, see if I need to change anything. I'll ask my buddy when the last time he did an oil change. Oil filter down there looks pretty clean, but it never hurts to ask. Well, it's been a long day of getting the tune-up done. Got new tires, getting this thing registered and plates and all that. Now I'm finally going to go and tackle that belt job. When I put new tires on it, they also mentioned that it needs brakes and tie rod ends, so that will be done later. Here's the old belt on the left and the new belt on the right. You can see the ribs there, how thin they are on the old one. So this will hopefully make it so that the air conditioning stops squeaking when I'm driving. And then here's the old pulley. There's nothing really wrong with it, but I figured I might as well change it out for a brand new one. It's a Continental, so it should be decent quality. But we'll get that thrown in there, and hopefully this thing drives a little bit smoother. All right, I got the belt on there. It was not the easiest thing in the world. Normally, you're supposed to go in through the side fender well, take the wheel off, take the splash guard out, all that stuff. I went in from the top. It is doable, though not easy. You definitely need a wobbly socket here. I used a pry bar to help kind of get the belt in there. And I used a ratcheting 13 mil. It was very tricky, but I did get it done. I would recommend doing it when the engine is cold, not after a day of driving, because I'm pretty sure I burned myself at least once. But other than that, it's on there, it's tightened up, and it doesn't squeak when I turn the AC on. The new assembly finally came in for the Versa, and I'm excited to replace this old one that's damaged for the brand new one. Another day, another problem. You can see the turn signal is not wanting to cooperate today, and this isn't the first problem I've had with this taillight assembly. When I took a trip this last weekend, anytime I turned the headlights on, it was turning not only the tail lights on, which is normal, but the brake lights as well. Normally that's not a huge problem, except for on these Versas. The computer thinks that you're applying the brake and won't let you accelerate above 30 miles an hour. So that was a whole lot of fun. The old taillight assembly still has a working circuit board in the back, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap them out. So I get the new fresh assembly, but a working factory circuit board. And I'm tempted to change out these tail light, or rather these backup light bulbs, for some LEDs too. This series has gotten a lot longer than I thought, so I decided I'm probably going to break this into a couple of parts because I also need to do brakes and tie rod ends on this car. So I guess this is going to be the end of part 1, and follow for more.